Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. A lot of movement, hot in the streets. We got infielders going everywhere. We got some relievers getting signed and a Mets trade. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. Sitting next to me is Jake. We got Trev coming to you from California and producer Bug Dude behind the dish. A lot of things happened since last episode. It's hot in the streets, as Jake would say. We got some infielders getting signed. That went just like fantasy baseball, just like, oh, we're doing infielders, and then everyone did infielders, and then everyone was like, well, what about Didi? And we'll get to that. And then we got a nice trade last night. We got some relievers getting picked up. We got a lot of fun being had on the waiver wire baseball.
Hey guys, I'm live from California. Jimmy, I love that what you said about the infielders going in the draft. I like drafting a tight end. I feel like that gives me an advantage in the draft.
Thank you, Trevor. Jake, do you have any thoughts?
I'm a weasel. I don't know. Me and Jeff Passan weasel around together. That's what I am. That's me, Jake.
I'm Jake. I'm a bad guy.
I'm a weasel.
I leave my underwear on the couch. Sorry, but BBD's gasping for air over there. Trevor,
unbelievable.
How are you, my good friend?
I don't mind you coming at me, but for you to say I draft tight ends early is a joke. I do not do that. I don't draft quarterbacks early either. Do not put that out there because that's not who I am. Me, on the other fact, when I came at you, kind of is who you are.
Wow. Deep cuts, man.
Jesus.
Jeez.
That backfired on you.
Oh, wait.
All-time backfire for Jake.
So a joke
Or
turned
I
into
meant to
you
say
calling
raccoon,
me,
maybe.
We'll
More raccoon than
talk
weasel.
about
We'll
that.
get there. We'll get there. But first
We'll
and
tie
most
that
importantly,
together for the people.
I got to shout out the people. Sharon Rover, Michael Sherman, Get Moving, 19, Chris M., Chris Nolan, Jeff Hagan, Roland Sox, Alex Warren, Adam's brother, Holden Worth, Marley Brackett, Yukazi Nakamura, Anthony Salerno, Kara Tansel, Julia Santiago, Willie Tobelman, Charlie M., Will Collins, Chris Sablacchio?
Spalcio. We might have mixed up the letters. He's always in the chat.
And KP Watershed,
Spalcio.
our most newest patrons.
Alex Berry.
You want to do those?
Yeah. Aaron Moorfield, Kellen Martin, Adam Thompson, Conrad Reeves, Cole Zwicky, Albert Grazzi, our guy, John Michael Shomers, and Michael Baxter.
And then we have some more that we'll get to in next show. But Cole Zwicky is a Zwicky?
Zwicky. That's a good
Zwicky?
relief pitcher name.
Yes.
That icky Zwicky.
Zwicky. Speaking of Patreon, we just changed everything. If you want to get into the mix and support us, you can go to patreon.com/Jomboy Media if you would like a shout out on Talkin' Baseball. We have 2 tiers now. There's some perks. We made social media accounts called Jomboy Media Patrons for Twitter and Instagram to do just behind the scenes stuff in the office whenever we go on trips, and that'll only be for patrons only. When we have guests interviews lined up, we're going to tell patrons about that guest and collect questions from patrons, and we will have a Patreon question of the interview. So that's exciting. And there's a ton of more perks. Go to the patreon.com/Jomboy to check it out. Thank you to everyone that supports us, and I'm happy that we're finally making a big effort to give back to those people. So I'm excited about it. Also excited about how many things happened, Jake. You said, I think we ended last show with you saying, like, baseball's hot in the streets, but it's about to, like, go. And I said that the dam was about to be broken down. And then we kind of got it a little bit.
Then Trev called me a weasel and then doubled down on it.
Yeah, he said, I called you a weasel, and it's not a joke.
No.
Yeah.
All in on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
You can get weaselly.
Oh,
you got it right.
No.
I told you,
Jake
it's
gets
more raccoon
wormy.
than weasel.
I get a little wormy.
Jake gets very wormy. I have a picture from Christmas 2013. Jake's full-blown worm. Actually, it's 2014. I'll show you. It's like the most wormy he's ever looked. I'll see if I can find him at a time when I'm not talking.
Very wormy.
Right?
Let me just explain
those?
the raccoon reference real quick because I feel like, was it a shot at him? Sure. But
absolutely.
For people that follow our podcast, they know I have a rodent problem. The gophers in my yard, I'm constantly fighting them. I woke up the other day to my grass torn up in a completely new way with a new critter. So I set up a hidden camera and found that this raccoon has been rolling up this new sod that I planted. Just like this. These little paws rolling.
Do we have
it
the
up.
video?
Can we post the video?
I'll send the video.
BBD has it.
There's no private info on the video, right?
No. And it looks like Jake. This raccoon's hungry. He's looking for worms.
The way the raccoon is navigating looks similar to me.
Like when you're hungry, I assume you go to the fridge and it looks just like that.
I think that gopher was looking to roll some grass, if you know what I mean.
Dude, so you just woke up and your grass was unrolled in that manner?
I had no idea what happened.
Because it looks like something only a human could do if I was to see it the first time. I think like Teddy was fucking with your grass, your son.
And there was no paw print. So I said, I have to see what's going on. I set this camera up, put it there, got the video, obviously. I sent it to you guys and just reminded me of Jake.
Well.
And I like raccoons. In what's the
You
Pocahontas.
like raccoons?
Pocahontas, the raccoon's my favorite character. He's very he wants to fight.
I don't know if that translates to you liking raccoons.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a cat in a cartoon I like, but I hate cats.
Now,
I don't think so. I think you instantly write off the cat.
I can't kill a raccoon, right?
Name the cat cartoon.
It's too big of an animal.
You gotta think of it.
Yeah.
Garfield?
I don't think you like Garfield. Baseball's hot in the streets. The listeners know that. You boys know that. You gals know that. Patrons, we love you. Are we doing the infielders, Jim? You've got it labeled infield crew.
Infield crew went.
Do we follow the money here?
I'm going to just read them in order, then we'll tackle it one by one. Marcus Semien goes to the Toronto Blue Jays, 1 year, $18 million deal. That's a really high AAV, but it is just 1 year. We'll get into what that means in a little bit. Andrelton Simmons goes to Trev's Twins, 1 year, $10.5 million. Tommy LaStella goes to the San Francisco Giants on a 3-year deal. We're not positive on the money yet. And Freddie Galvis, a 1-year deal to the Baltimore Orioles. We do have the shot of the raccoon up now. It's just funny.
I mean, it's grimy.
Tell me that's not Jake.
I mean, you sent this in the Talkin Baseball chat, and it was, I think the younger boys, David and Zach, were scared to.
I don't handle rodents well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's live from the Plouffe backyard.
I also just texted you Jake's worm picture, BBD, if you wanted to throw that up.
So wormy.
It's like the wormiest he's ever looked in his life. It's bizarre. Let's talk about Marcus Semien going to the Blue Jays. Okay, we have an audible laugh from BBD on the worm.
It's not the grossest I've ever looked. It's close. It's very wormy.
Yes.
I was drunk. I was getting gross with it.
Yeah.
Gross to grind. Semien to the Blue Jays. Second baseman, Marcus Semien.
Yes, so he's going to move over to second base. Bo's going to stay at shortstop. Cavan's going to move to third. I'm guessing Vladdy's going to go to first, and there might be some rotations around if they want to. Really high price for Semien. He moves to second base. I'm guessing they wanted to keep Bo at short, and if you go get Simmons, he's gonna be your shortstop, and then you have to move Bo around, and they wanted Marcus Semien. They gave him the 1-year deal. Their lineup is crazy talented right now. The infield's really fun. The defense should be really good. A lot of people have mixed reviews on Semien at shortstop. I think at second base, he's probably going to shine pretty bright defensively, and his bat's been good lately. So it's a huge deal. I have, Trev, what do you got on this deal?
I mean, whoever he landed up with was getting an incredible baseball player. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if you're just listening on the podcast app, you're going to have to go to the YouTube to see.
Hide the kids.
That's bad.
It's wormy. It's wormy, right?
The top right
on
is the
screen
wormiest
anymore.
pick it can get. Not a Marcus Semien ad. Not a good guy. Not a good baseball player.
Let me get back to Marcus. That's really making me
nauseous,
disgusted. Yeah.
Hot.
But Marcus, I think it's strange to me that he's going to second base. I love the move for the Blue Jays because getting him in your infield and getting him in your lineup on a 1-year deal is great. I love the AAV for Marcus. I wish he could have got more years, but we kind of understandable the year he was coming off of and whatnot. So to me, it makes more sense for him to go to third base than second base. Leave Cavan at second, leave Bo at short, let Marcus go to third base. But they must have some defensive metrics saying this is the move. I don't know why, but he improves that team. He's going to help the young. I keep saying this with all these free agents, but because I really believe it to be true, he's going to help them develop. He was a bad fielder, bad defender that turned into a really good defender, and it was just by work. So he's going to go show them that. And I think that alone is worth, a lot to the Blue Jays franchise.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of it that mentally sucks about the Semien thing is like his whole rise at the shortstop position was a conversation in baseball for years, and then he finally figured it out with hard work, which Trev, you hammer home. Like if you want to get better at defense, that's the way. There's no secret. There's no sleep apnea trick. There's no nothing. Like it's hard work. Get in there, and he did that. So, and in the 53 games last year, he wasn't great at short, but he was so good the past couple years. He had really good defensive WAR, which we'll be talking a lot of defensive WAR when we get to Andrelton Simmons in a little bit. But I think that's what's interesting. And again, 1 year, Trev, you drive this home a lot. Like there's no risk for the teams. Like they make money. And for 1 year, this guy, there's a couple different ways you could cut this. His career numbers aren't that impressive. But in the last 3 years, he's also racked up about 14 WAR, which, if you translate that to millions of dollars, that's a lot of quiche. So for a 1 year gamble for this team that wants to go to the next level and how much we talked about how these young guys pan out and how that's going to kind of depend what their ceiling is, I love it. And a little kind of off the field, on the field stuff, which I picked this up from MLB Network. I'll give them a shout out. The Blue Jays, I think they were the only team in baseball last year without an African-American player, and now they've added Springer and Semien. So they made a conscious effort to go do that. The Blue Jays, they added Taijuan Walker later in the year, but they started. And Toronto's this diverse city. It's one of the most diverse cities in the world. So I don't know. You got to love what Toronto's done. I mean, if we did this last year, before last season happened, the 50-game season, and they added George Springer and Marcus Semien, I mean, we would be going nuts about it. So the fact they gave Springer the bag and they unloaded it, the fact they only have to go 1 year with Semien is kind of nuts, and I do think he had some multi-years offers. We got some whispers of that, but obviously not at this AAV, so he's doing the bet on himself. So go rake, kid.
Yeah, I love it for the Blue Jays. Obviously, their lineup is amazing. They still need pitching. They did a trade, and we'll get to that later in the show, but their lineup is great now. The business side of this, Semien takes this deal. He's going to get a ton of money for 1 year. I don't know the thought process between third and second, Trev, but he wants to go into free agency next year as a shortstop. So maybe if he stays at second, he's at least still considered a middle infielder because he wants to go into next free agency as a shortstop with all those other huge names because a rising blah, blah lifts all boats or whatever that saying is. There's going to be a lot of money thrown at the shortstop position, and if he's the third best, he's still going to – teams will be like, well, let's get Semien because he's going to cost less than these three guys. So I think that's kind of the 1 year deal thing. What I find really interesting, the business side of this deal, he got $18 million. The qualifying offer that the A's could have offered him is 1 year, $18.9 million or 18.5, I forget exactly what it is. So if they offered him that and he turned it down because he was looking for a multiple year deal, then sign this one. The Oakland A's could have got a draft pick out of this, which are coveted by people. Because they didn't offer him the qualifying offer, the Blue Jays can now offer him the qualifying offer this year, correct? Which he probably won't accept, and the Blue Jays will probably get a draft pick out of this deal. So I think if you're a front office and GM, we'll take Semien for 1 year and we'll get a draft pick out of him for next year if we don't re-sign him.
Yeah, and if he's good enough to do that, it's paid off for Toronto tenfold. I
think he's going to want a multiple-year deal. I don't think he's going to want to go back-to-back one.
It's going to be really interesting because, I think a team at this point, we'll be able to talk them into Marcus Semien at second or potentially shortstop the next year. And who knows how this season plays out. Like, Bo Bichette hasn't played a full season of baseball yet, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see some Marcus Semien playing shortstop for the Blue Jays this year. And if he looks solid, the question is with the stick, man. He's got the monster 2019. He had an 892 OPS, a 139 OPS plus, finished third in the MVP. He was a beast. He doesn't have an offensive season with above a 735 OPS after that. And that was 2016. So, Marcus, you got more in the stick. Can you get another 800 OPS season on the board, and then maybe you can find your 2-3 year landing spot? Or, are you going to be in this 1 year flyer mode where teams are searching for that 2019?
Toronto, baby. You talk about a rising tide raises all ships, Jim.
Yeah.
Playing in Toronto raises all your numbers. I mean, that's a great place to hit.
Yeah.
I still I keep going back, like, why second base? You said maybe they want to keep him as a middle infielder, but to me, it just seems more natural at third base. For a shortstop to go play third base, the throw's the same. You're on that left side of the infield.
He hasn't had to move to his right anyway with Olsen with Chapman over there.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think he'll adapt well to it because he is a hard worker, and he'll just go in and just figure it out. But the second base turn is tough, and if he hasn't done it a lot, which I don't think he has, that's something to look out for. I mean, in spring training, he's just going to have to hammer that and hammer it. But I'm happy for Marcus. I know we talk about money, and it gets silly sometimes on here because we're talking about millions of dollars. I mean, the guy put up that season, gets rewarded with $13 million in arbitration, but he only made 30% of that last year. Like, that's ultimate bad luck. Like, your biggest year of you work so hard and you get paid that, and you make 30% of your biggest year. So, a nice payday for him, really securing the bag. Happy, a good guy, all around good guy. All the reports coming out of Oakland and the Bay Area about him, everyone's sad to lose a guy of his, like, he was a quality person. So
from the Bay, so he's changing coasts.
Man, that would be
went to Cal.
Trev, I know we're not a CBA pod yet, but if players could have something in when they hit their ARB years that they could either give money back to the team to hit free agency early or something. Like, if Semien could have hit some sort of clause where he could have hit free agency last year, or Odorizzi.
I play for $1 the rest of the way.
That could be the clause. I don't see that panning out.
That's a first proposal.
All about timing, man.
It is nuts, man. It's nuts.
Next up, we got...
I would have liked to be a free agent earlier. Shoot.
Yeah.
Final note.
You
mentioned Biggio. He's going to be fun to watch this year. It's sounding like he's going to play a lot of third, but they also want to move him around a lot. They want him to be their super util. So I think Skinny Vlad has to earn up his street cred to get some reps over there, but he wants it. His bio still reads Blue Jays third baseman, and he lost all that weight.
That?
Yes. They're kids.
Like his Twitter bio?
Yes.
Because Kluber's whatever changed.
Think about who you're comparing.
I know. I don't know his account. Some of these young people, you look at their account, you're like, oh, he doesn't run this.
I mean, Vladdy's been getting sexy season.
He lost a lot.
I get that, but he just, I get it. And hopefully he does play some games over there. That'd be great. But I just think, look, just go play first base, man. Go rake.
Yeah,
rake.
Become Prince Fielder.
All of those guys we just mentioned, go rake. The defense figures itself out.
Speaking of defense, Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton? How do you say his first name? Andrelton. So I nailed it, and then I double-checked it. Okay. 1 for 10.5 to the Minnesota Twins, Trev. The defense in Minnesota is going to be superb. Polanco is going to move to second base. Arise is going to become a super utility. I mean, you got great outfield defense. It's a good move for them. He's going to be the shortstop. It's a 1-year deal. Trev, you were excited about this?
Yeah, so I actually just finished up a sequence episode going over a particular play of Andrelton's. I had it on the burner, and then when he went to Minnesota, I said, it's a good time to do it. So yes, you're right about Josh Donaldson and Andrelton Simmons on the left side of an infield. That's like a pitcher's dream, having those guys. And I have some numbers because, like I said, just finished up. He has 159.9 defensive runs saved since he came into the league in 2012. Second place at his position is 64 runs behind him, and it's Brandon Crawford, who we all know is an excellent defender. He trails only Xander Bogaerts and Lindor and Fangraphs WAR during that time. And we know what kind of offensive players those guys are. Simmons' value is almost completely brought by his defense. That's how good of a defender he is. He's been about worth the same as those guys, just defensively. And you can go on and on and on. I mean, it is not crazy to say that this is the best defensive shortstop of all time.
There's a chance. I'd like to see
one
it
of the best defenders
yes.
of all time.
You want to see it for a few more years, but I do.
A few more years?
Baseball, the wizard.
He's got 8. He's got 8+ years, almost 9 years.
Yeah, but
the
two guys you're going to compare him to have 20,
and he'll get there.
Let's see.
What Jake said.
That's what I just
Jake
said. And you got kind of mad at me and called me a weasel before. Trev, I will compliment you because, dude, I love just individual team dynamic stuff. And, man, when Donaldson's picking it right at third with Andrelton, that is just going to be special in and of itself. That's a very special version of baseball porn, the left side of the infield, coming to my OnlyFans soon. Never mind if Buxton's healthy in center, my word. People like Kepler defensively. If the Twins with that offense can find another identity with the defense, I like that as a team for them. Hopefully, we still expect them to make a pitching move, but I like it for Andrelton. I have to give Jim some love. I thought some analytics nerd was going to talk themselves into giving Andrelton 2-3 years. Didn't happen. He takes the 1-year deal. Would be curious to how his free agency went because I know are some teams still out there looking for shortstops, but really fun for 1 year. And I mean, go check out Sequence with Trevor Plouffe.
Dude, and I went through. I wanted to do a good play of his, and I searched Andrelton Simmons defensive highlights.
Sure,
you could go down a rabbit hole, and I audibly gasped many times, like, "Oh my god, oh my god." Like, he is that special to watch and maybe, underappreciated. Well, he's only won 4 Gold Gloves. Just go watch those highlights and you just see he's just a different type of defender. It's really cool to watch.
They need to get Cruz. I mean, you're taking a hit on offense here to strengthen up your defense, and the best way to counteract that is to have one of the best power-hitting DHs you can have in the American League. So I would like them to, if they miss out on Cruz, I'm going to be upset. They got rid of Eddie already. Cruz is currently not on the team. That's 2 boomsticks. So they need Cruz back. And then I love this move because you are taking a hit offensively here. You have no bat to short the defense, which you can do if you have a guy like Cruz who's not playing defense but going to fucking rake and play every single game. So I'd like them to lock up Cruz pretty soon.
I think they will. I agree with you. They are taking a hit offensively with him, but you can counter that with their pitching is going to be better. Their defensive numbers are going to be better. So it might be just like a net zero thing, or maybe even more. But Cruz definitely needs to be back in that lineup, and I believe he will be.
And the reason why Simmons is underrated is because he plays for the Angels, which is where you go to fade out and die. And someone argued with me that. I don't know if it was one of you two or it was a guest we had during winter meetings. I stand firm on that. You will get no love if you play for the Angels. And that's I
think you said that Anaheim wasn't a big enough market for Trevor Bauer or something like that.
Well, my point was no one cares about or watches the Angels.
Dude, it's the star power they have on their team. International star power.
I said it's the dim lights, and it is. You have all those stars, and the lights just dim.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Next up we're done with Simmons? Oh, the one note I had here is that Thaddeus Levine, the GM for the Twins, which isn't an early settler name. It's kind of like he built the buildings. He was alive at that time period, but he wasn't settling land.
He was the sexy name for the earlier settlers.
No.
Like the cool names the kids are coming out with now.
He paid the bills for the settlers to live, but they never actually met Thaddeus Levine in person. Okay. He was just a figure.
Okay.
I could see that.
He owned the ships that brought him over. These are Thaddeus Levine ships.
Yeah.
Anyway, Thad Levine said he was watching. He's a Twins GM. He said he was watching the Dodgers in the World Series, saw how flexible they are, being able to play so many different positions and change up, and it was a little jealous of that and thought, we have the personnel to do that. So he actually wanted to get Polanco like out of a fixed position and Arise super util and all that.
Well, dude, and just when we were pivoting off the Blue Jays, we almost said the same things just with different names. Arise goes to the util role. Polanco's going to shift over to second.
Yeah.
Like this is the way. Hashtag Star Wars.
Tommy LaStella is going to the Giants on a 3-year deal. We don't know the money yet. I tried to find it, but we don't know the money yet. We just know it's a 3-year deal. I was a little interested in this because LaStella's older, 33.
He's turning 32 in 2 days.
Okay,
3 days.
32, a year off. And I thought there was a weird move by him, but then I looked at his career earnings. He signed a 2-year, $3 million deal with the Angels 2 seasons ago, and that was his first time reaching free agency. So if they offered him like 3 years, 15 mil or something north of 10, I think he doesn't care what team he signs with, and he just takes the payday. I thought a guy at 32 that's been playing really well would go hunting down a contender, and then I went through his contract, and I was like, he's probably going to go take whatever the biggest bag he can get no matter where it is. I know, Trev, but I thought if he already earned like that 10 to 15, then he would be going and searching for just like, I want to win right now. I'm probably, 3 more years left in my career, basically. He almost retired when he was 26 when the Cubs sent him back down to AAA, and then he came back up. He's been really good on the Angels. He broke his leg, and then he came back. He got traded to the A's last year. He was great in the postseason for the A's. He's going to go over the Giants and play for 3 years. The Giants have no one on the books in 2023. So, that's like their date. I think that's when Longo comes off. And everyone's coming off the books then?
It starts trickling off. I think even after this year, a couple of big ones. I think Posey comes off the books, so they will be turning over some big money in the next few years.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's part of seems like he's part of the fading Giants and not part of the rebuilding when they have a ton of money. But hopefully the contract is nice for him. I mean, he's a good player.
Trev, I really want to get your thoughts on this because each baseball reference page tells a story. How could you not be romantic about baseball? Tommy LaStella's is a weird one. We just came off of Andrelton Simmons, who could put together a story for best defender of all time. You look at the offensive stats for Andrelton, and it's kind of a ew. Tommy LaStella, the numbers are kind of nice. You're seeing a ton of positive OPS pluses. You're seeing some years in the 800s. And, I remember when he was coming up on the Cubs, people were into him. The nickname on Baseball Reference is 3 a.m., which I Googled, and it's actually a pretty good Joe Madden.
Big OAR fan?
They asked Joe Madden something about Tommy LaStella, and he was like, that kid could roll out of bed at 3 a.m. and hit you. Which is a pretty good coaching line. I know we're not the biggest Madden pod, but Trev, it's a weird one. He's only got one season where he played 123 games and he didn't get big at bats that year. Cumulative. I mean, he's got 3 baseball seasons over 7 years, so I don't know what to do with it. He can clearly hit a little bit. He's had some bad luck. He's had some trying to crack for playing time on those good Cubs teams, and it kind of never figured itself out. So I'm really interested to see what you have to say.
I'm interested to see what I'm going to say, too. I really don't have a read on this, to be honest with you. I mean, if I'm looking at kind of what's going on in the market, you had Profar, Kike, and I guess Tommy LaStella. They're all kind of the super utility guys that can play everywhere. I think Kike, to me, is probably the best of the bunch of that. And so him and Profar both got $7 million AAV, and I'd kind of be shocked if he was approached that for 3 years. But he should be right around there. Maybe it's a 315, something like that. I don't know the direction the Giants are trying to go. They're one of those teams that I just don't know what they're thinking. But I'm happy that he gets paid. I don't like the story, Jim, of him trying to quit when they sent him down to AAA. Clearly he got over that being I guess, I don't know what else to call him, but a baby.
I guess it's, I would guess it's.
Everyone has their baseball
Everyone
story.
has their story of when hey, he probably didn't quit. I would say
story. I mean, you put that out there. I don't.
Well, it's just a line that I think maybe he was it was when they sent me back down. I really had to consider if this is what I'm going to be doing with my life. It probably wasn't. Probably maybe he's got I don't know his family situation, but I think everyone has a push come to shove moment, and then he stayed through it. Then he broke his leg, and hopefully he got a good deal right now.
Yeah, I hope he did too. Like, I'm not like calling him names. I just didn't really like that tidbit about him, but he clearly got over it. He is a good offensive player. He's one of those guys that, you kind of hear about, like on the Cubs, then with the Angels, he really kind of found his own. Maybe something clicked there.
He just can hit, man.
Giants are going to be so weird this year again. Their lineup can sneaky hit. Their lineup did sneaky good last year, and they add a guy like LaStella, and the whole crew of hitters is basically back. They're going to finish around 500 again, which is this weird baseball. Teams don't do this. I think they're better than the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, and they'll do well in those games. I think they get crushed by the Dodgers and the Padres. And we'll just be doing the same thing all year where we're like, oh, Giants took 2 out of 3. And we'll be like, what's it all mean? Kind of nothing.
Fan service, which I appreciate.
Longo, Crawford, LaStella, Belt. Is that who we got in the infield there? It's a pretty good infield.
They've got options, man. I mean, Wilmer Flores has been kind of hitting, and he's on the roster. Longo, Donnie Barrels.
Donnie Barrels over there.
Let's see it, guys. A. Dick Yastrzemski.
A dick?
They were the 6th best OPS team last year.
It's funny that Longo still has 2 more years. They're making a lot of money, man.
Making a lot of daddy money.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. He's the real deal, though. Like, I'm not, like, he should be making that money. Like, he earned that money.
Us 3 and us 4, BBD, and Longo go out to dinner. We're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys would love him.
Okay, cool.
Does he get silly?
He can.
Okay.
He's got a switch he could flip.
Okay. That's
Wow.
all I need to know.
Yeah.
Last infielder that went was Freddie Galvis. 1-year deal to the Baltimore Orioles. Another defense-first guy. This guy can pick it at short. He's been at short for a while, just bouncing around. I like this deal because I love good structured deals. It's a 1 year for $1.5 million. He gets a $250K bonus if the Orioles trade him. So if he plays good enough that they can trade him for a prospect, he gets a little bump there. So the intent by the Orioles is kind of known. Like we said, the Red Sox probably picked up Ottavino just so they could trade him. Like this is like the Orioles like flat out, dude, come here. We'll give you major league at-bats for 3 months. You get yourself onto another team. We'll give you a little bonus. Otherwise, you're probably going to get benched in August and September.
I like Freddie, man. He's fun to watch play. He's pretty good defensively. He's got 2 20-homer seasons in the bag.
It's a $1.5 million tryout to be on a contender.
And they did this with Jose Iglesias last year, and for some reason he raked, which was odd. He became like their DH. But yeah, Freddie, go out and get it. And man, dude, started in 2012, still doing it. A fun dude to watch play, and I think the OPS is, it's below league average, career 677, but I don't know. It always felt like he gave tougher at-bats than that when he was in Toronto playing against the Yankees. So, sure, Freddie G.
All right.
Yeah, he's a good clubhouse guy. So, again, say it again, you need veterans to teach the young guys how to act, what to do at the big league level, and he's a guy that they can use for that.
I forget when he signed. It was right when somebody else signed, and my buddy John Mioli, who does Oriole stuff, tweeted it out, and he's like, Freddie Galvis, 1 year, 1.5. It's just
quietly.
Like, good job, O's.
I don't hate it for the Orioles either.
Knock yourselves out.
Hopefully you get it.
That was my favorite day in spring training when we went and saw the Orioles. Great internet.
The internet was
internet.
Unrivaled. It's the best internet I've ever seen.
Yeah. And we ate some like ridiculous sandwich out in that little area.
What's the?
Is that barbecue?
No, yeah, but it's named after Orioles.
Bug?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
Powell?
Bug Powell. Yeah, it's a bug.
Yeah, they got that at the
no,
stadium.
not Bug Powell.
Different bug?
The first base was
Orioles.
blanking.
Orioles fans are going to be mad at us. Bug.
Bug.
It's not Bug Powell though.
Okay. Well, anyway, that rounds out the infielders. Moving on.
It is Bug Powell, dude.
Is it?
Yeah.
We've moved on. A trade happened last night. the Mets and the Blue Jays. Big trade buddies. We got like
friends.
3 different GMs, but these guys are still trading on them. And they send Steven Matz is going from the Mets to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are sending 3 pitchers back: Sean Reed-Foley, Yennsy Diaz, and John Winkowski. The Blue Jays are picking up all of Steven Matz's contract. It's got 1 year left on it, and he's making $5.2 million. The Jays are picking up that entire thing. So what the Jays get here is a potential 4 or 5. Steven Matz has been declining. His results have been declining like crazy the last couple years. And the Blue Jays are hoping that the analytics help him out because there's still some good stuff there. His strikeout rate was really good last year. His velo is still there, 95 miles per hour on his fastball, just two-seam fastball. So, like, they still got some stuff. I know, Saris was saying that he still ranks in, like, top 30 of pitchers for, like, quality stuff or whatever the hell that means. I don't care about this move. I think it's a bad move for the Blue Jays. I think it's a good move for the Mets. I think there was a chance Mets got DFA'd this year. There was a chance, like, he didn't break spring training, and the Blue Jays just went and got 3 pitchers for him. Or the Mets just went and got 3 pitchers for him. So I like this from the Mets standpoint. If the Blue Jays think Steven Matz is the answer, he's not. He's going to be a 4 or 5. He's got the potential. I still think I need the Blue Jays to go get Odo or get Paxton, and then I like this for them. Because they didn't trade away anyone that's going to make or break the next couple of years for them either on the Blue Jays side. So I guess there needs to be more moves for this. They still need someone that's going to be in their rotation above Steven Matz, is my opinion.
Look, you get a lefty that can throw hard like that. You just take him and see if he can make some adjustments. On just a quick little scouting report here, like he doesn't throw his 4-seamer very often, and to me that seems like if you throw hard, you should probably start throwing that more often. And he doesn't throw that often. He doesn't have great spin on it. So guess what he's going to go do? He's going to get a little bit of Pelican grip. He's going to put it on his fingers, and all of a sudden his RPMs are going to jump from 2,000 to 2,300, and he's going to start throwing his 4-seamer at the top of the zone. And maybe he figures things out and we'll be like, damn, that was a really good deal for the Blue Jays. They found a diamond in the rough. They polished it a little bit, and here he is shining in the playoffs because they've been making moves. I like this move. I was the one that said I think Matz is good, and then you guys said, well, he stinks. Then I looked at his numbers, and he has stunk. But pure stuff,
yeah,
he still got it.
There's something about baseball, a lefty that can throw it, and when you look at his baseball savant, the only things that are up are fastball velo and K percentage. So any team around baseball is going to see that and say, what can we do with this guy? I am going to do something I don't know if we've ever done on this program.
Okay.
Jon Heyman had a good tweet. Jon Heyman had a good tweet.
I love that. What'd he say?
He said, well, for those who saw Matz, and this is going back a little bit, as a non-tender candidate, which he was.
Yeah.
We talked about that. He was going to make $5 million, and we were wondering if that was going to be worth it in this free agent market. The Mets turned it into 3 bodies, like you just mentioned. And on the Mets side of that, they were looking for, and it sucks that this was kind of a baseball phrase that you need nowadays to survive. The Mets needed MLB kind of quadruple A guys they could call up. And Yesny and Reed-Foley kind of are those guys. So they give the Mets, when their injuries hit, or if you need a guy to come into the bullpen for 10 games or whatever it is, you have guys that have pitched at the MLB level, and they can come do that for you. So I think for the Mets, this is really good. If they didn't have anything else they could do with Matz, they kind of tapped him out.
I like it for the Mets.
But I do like it for the Blue Jays. You take a flyer on a lefty that can twirl it, and hey, he's going to go there with Robbie Ray, who's been striking dudes out from the left side for a year. Ryu, he's got some tricks up his butt.
Well, what if I say this? I like this I think the value somewhat makes sense here. Maybe the Blue Jays could have gotten like a prospect with Matz. Maybe not. They took on all the money. I don't know. But the Blue Jays, I would still like them to be in on Odorizzi or Paxton.
If their pitching isn't done, we're not happy.
Yes, if this is the final pitching rotation move, because they're like they're saying their lineup's amazing now. Like go supplement that. Don't be the Angels. Go get some more starters. A little bit on these guys that are going to the Mets. Sean Reed-Foley, he started some games in 18, started some games in 19. They put him in the pen in 2020. He plays better as a reliever as far as the numbers say. He does not have a third pitch at all. He's fastball slider. He tried to throw the changeup as a starter, and it just got crushed.
And, Jim, this is going to be, I think Trev might think this is kind of mean.
He looks like a reliever.
He's a reliever. He looks like a reliever.
I had that in my notes. I knew you were gonna agree with me. Dude's got a funny mustache, and he's tatted up. He looks like a reliever.
He's born to come out of the pen.
Yes, that guy's not a... Yeah.
I think Trev's Googling
I gotta look him
pictures
up
now.
Yeah, look him up. He looks like Sean Reed-Foley.
Sean Reed-Foley. First pitcher from Galway.
Guam?
That's not true. None of that's true. Interested to see Trev's reaction.
He was first pitcher from Guam. He was born in Guam, first pitcher to ever make the big leagues that was born in Guam. Second big leaguer to ever be born from Guam. The other guy was, I wrote it down somewhere because I did so much research for this episode, Jon Heyman, who was a hitter for the Blue Jays. So this is going to be the first time a player born in Guam plays for a team not called the Blue Jays. Did you see pictures? He looks like a reliever, Trev, yes or no?
I wouldn't trust him. Like,
that's a reliever.
Yeah,
that's the guy. I mean, I don't know about. I'm not talking about in a baseball game. Maybe I'll trust him in the back end of a baseball game, but I wouldn't trust him just like around my wallet or something like that.
My God.
Oh wow, tattooist.
Tough.
I don't even see tattoos. Am I following? I guess I'm only looking at headshots, so that makes sense. But
you see the mustache?
Yeah, it's the smile for me that does it. It's very like mischievous.
Yeah. Well, he looks like a reliever, and I don't know what the Mets are going to use him as. If they want to go put him in the reliever role, they might just stash him in AAA. Two of the guys that the Mets got that Jake talked about, Yennsy Diaz and Sean Reed-Foley, are 40-man guys. They both made their big leagues, but they have options, so they can start the year in AAA.
Up and down.
Yeah, Yennsy definitely will. He only appeared in one game. He actually replaced Sean Reed-Foley in a game when they both got kind of beat up by the Orioles, I want to say. And then the other kid is a Rule 5 eligible guy. So he can get picked up if he doesn't crack the 40-man. And the Blue Jays traded him away because maybe he was going to get picked up next year in the Rule 5. So there you go. But
wait.
Yeah.
I just looked at where Guam was. Holy, he lived there?
Born there.
Is that like military? Don't know.
That could be, I guess. It could be.
It's a territory.
Literally.
It's a U.S. territory, so yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Never would have guessed that. I thought Guam was like Central America, Latin America.
No, Guam is in the middle of the ocean.
Some stuff in the Pacific. Like, what's going on out there?
Love the Pacific. Great ocean.
Favorite ocean? Yeah, Cali guy.
Does it have good Yelp ratings?
Guam or the Pacific Ocean?
The Pacific Ocean.
Tough.
That's a thing. People rate oceans on Yelp. I'm just saying.
How many oceans have you swum in?
I don't know. A lot. A couple.
How many?
I'm a 2 guy.
Jake's got 2. He's got Pacific and Atlantic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got to think, like, where have I been swimming? The Gulf is not an ocean. The Mediterranean Sea is not an ocean.
Big facts out of you today. Weasel, ocean.
Have you been to the Indian Ocean?
No, haven't been in the Indian Ocean.
I have. In your face.
So there, North Pacific, South Pacific. I think I've been.
You haven't swum in the Arctic Ocean?
No.
I'd like to do that.
And have you swum in the Southern Ocean?
I'm a 2 guy, and I'm actually disappointed in myself that I'm a 2 guy.
So I have the most ocean swum in on the show?
Yeah. BBD?
Is that the Australian guy
2
in you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because I went to Australia. Indonesia. Swam in the Indian Ocean. Got offered to buy baby. Very sad. So I like this trade. And now the Mets also made another move, which moves us into the reliever portion of today's episode.
Can we talk about a couple old guys with some ugly slots they released from?
Raise your kids to be a lefty or throw funky.
Nope.
Don't.
Trev's no poo-pooing that.
The Mets also brought in Aaron Loup. So I think the Mets bullpen has gone from an issue to it's either neutral or a little above neutral at this point. Aaron Loup's good. I'd like them to put Reed Foley out there. He was decent out of the pen. He doesn't have a third pitch right now. What?
He's a reliever.
And he looks like a reliever. They got Betances still. This guy replaces Wilson on their roster. He's a lefty. I mean, we saw Loup look gross, and we had no confidence in him in the postseason.
I have been fully brainwashed by Aaron Loup. He looked so gross last year that he's got the Tampa magic. Question, Jimmy.
Trevor May, Miguel Castro, also in the Mets bullpen. I'm starting to like their bullpen, and I don't think it's a hindrance anymore at all. And it was a sore spot for them.
Dude, it just starts getting into that range where you start valuing guys. You've moved some guys down the peg in the bullpen that it's like Familia as your fifth option, Betances as your fourth. If one of those guys figures it out, they can be lights out.
I still think Betances could be the second.
Seth Lugo in a flex role for them still. Man, if they do the Bauer nuke move, I mean this is a very real team. And I think last year when we were doing PPPs, we said if the Mets roster was the Phillies, we would have liked them a lot more, but it's Metsy as it getsy. This year, I think it's a better team. And it's kind of like, damn, is this going to be real?
Well, we also have Yankees signing O'Day, and that's kind of their Ottavino replacement. Remember we were telling you, Trev, that they used Otto as a Rugi, a righties outs only guy? Well, and he was making $7 million. Well, now they bring in O'Day, who is a righty outs only guy. And he's making $2 million, so it's a straight trade right there for O'Day. O'Day and Britton teaming up again in the bullpen from their Oriole days. Do you have anything on either of these guys?
Look, yeah, Loup totally changed the way I thought about him last year when we saw him down the stretch with the Rays. In the playoffs, I don't know if he was as good. Had some maybe like an outing where he wasn't, but
I wouldn't like to see him in high leverage situations. His 2020 playoff numbers: gross. 9 games, 5.1 innings. No, not 9 games. Yeah, 9 games. He allowed a run in 1 of the 9 games he appeared in.
Okay. Again, I wouldn't like if he's on my team, and this is no shot at him. I'm sorry that I'm saying this. I'm just being honest here. I wouldn't like to see him in a high leverage situation.
We said that about O'Day too. Jake and I were like, this guy, we're not going to feel confident in this guy just because not hard throwing bullpen guys always make you feel that way.
I will say it depends on who's up. Like, dude, obviously I don't know about O'Day. Loup has been better against lefties. He's not bad against righties, but in those situations, man, you'd really hope he's up against a lefty that doesn't like a slider. And then with O'Day, you really hope he's up against a righty because left-handers, I don't know what the numbers are. I just know that in my baseball experience that left-handers love sidearm right-hand pitchers.
It's not as insane as you'd think it would be. I mean, career, he has a righties, a 549 OPS. I mean, that's dominant. Lefties are 710. I mean, you normally, for a sidewinding guy like that, you normally expect that to be like 810 or something like that. But and he's
a little different.
The Ron Darling, friend of the pod, kind of likes Trevor Plouffe's takes. He said something interesting during this playoffs that I asked you guys because I just thought it was a weird way to look at it. He said veteran pitchers, they get better against the splits as they go because they've battled against it more. Darren O'Day has been battling against lefties for 15 years now that he's got his game plan to get lefties out. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how the Yankees use him. I think they're going to use him exactly like Ottavino, like we've said. But yeah, it's going to be interesting when you're slinging 88 mile per hour fastballs and there's going to be Devers at the plate or something like that. We're going to have a couple nervous moments.
I will say for some people that might be confused, like I thought the 3-batter minimum eliminated the Rugi and the Loogie. I'm using that term. I should maybe change it a little bit because it's more that if the manager sees the lane, which means the next 3 guys coming up are 3 righties, okay, that's Darren O'Day's inning.
Bang.
Doesn't care if it's the 6th, 7th, or 8th. Let's put him out here. Whereas Britain will be more, okay, there's 2 lefties coming up in the next 3. Let's use Britain. Like that's more how they see it now and use it now than one.
They can also end the inning with one of these guys, bring him in, end the inning. But I will say Loup and O'Day, and I have maybe a old school opinion on those guys because they don't throw like a typical sidearm guy used to. You really expect a sink out of that guy with like a frisbee slider, but both those guys have kind of figured out how to get that rising trajectory on the ball, and that makes them different and makes them tougher to hit.
O'Day's release point is really funky. I think at first I was mentally picturing Chad Bradford, because Chad Brad came underarm scraping knuckles. He almost comes across his body that it's like he releases it from the middle. It's a funky look. It's a tough at bat, man.
I was gonna pull up a random video.
Darren
O'Day ball to Gio Urshela.
Wow, Blue Jay Gio Urshela.
That's like rare, huh?
Yeah. Thoughts, Jim?
On that pitch? Not much. It's just kind of basic.
During Darren O'Day's All-Star season, he had an 11-game scoreless streak that Trevor was a big part of the rally that ended that.
Ooh. Whoa, producer.
What did he do? Get hit by pitch?
It was August 21st,
Fielder's choice.
He had a bloop single.
Wow.
Got Sano to second. A few guys scored. They were down 3-1 at the time. They took a 4-3 lead in the inning.
Did you read the word bloop, or is that your interpretation of it?
I read an article. It was Trevor Plouffe in a bloop single and like the
Who wrote
triangle
that?
of death.
We're taking them down.
I'm also, I just looked it up. I'm 3 for 7 against the guy. He's beaten me one time. So on base percentage of 500.
Sorry.
Whatever. I battled
as a righty against that type of pitcher.
Can I get that on the sound?
Thank you, BBD.
Can I get that on the soundboard, BBD? I battled.
Yeah, I did.
I battled. That's all we get. That's all we ask, man.
Okay.
Jimmy's going for it now. Are you looking for the bloop?
Yeah, because I'm trying to have Trev's back here. I just don't.
It's probably a bloop, dude. I'm not
no.
I hit
but there's 2 kinds of bloop.
It could have been a flare, and I think the writer's jobbing you. So I have your back here. I'm finding it. I have it pulled up. Sorry that the people can't watch it, and neither can we because there's no video footage.
I don't think that game was ever televised.
This says Trevor Plouffe singles on a pop-up to right fielder Gerardo Parra, deflected by second baseman Jonathan Scope.
Thank you, Scopey.
That doesn't bode well for this bloop, though.
Wait, dude. I'm okay with it being
for
a bloop.
me. That's a hot shot.
Yeah,
I interpret that as hot shot to second.
I've got that description from the article I read before. This is by Jeff Seidel.
Okay, maybe a new friend, maybe a new enemy.
O'Day started the inning by walking Miguel Sano, who moved to second when Trevor Plouffe blooped a ball just inside the right field line. Orioles second baseman Jonathan Scope and right fielder Gerardo Parra both raced to the ball but couldn't make the play. Scope says it nipped his glove, which put the Twins in a good spot.
I remember it. It was an absolute blooper. Texas leaguer fisted down the right field line 100%.
Tarp shot?
Guess what? Hey, Jeff, that's what you do against sidearmers. You stay inside the ball.
He's just describing it.
Gerardo Parra is a world-class defender. So, the fact he couldn't get there, that's a hit, babe.
Scoop couldn't scoop it.
Hands inside, baby.
All right, these 2 moves by the Mets, the Matz trade, the Loup signing, going with a cheaper reliever, and then clearing Matz numbers. If they wanted to sign Wilson or another big reliever, they could have spent more money. A lot of people are interpreting this that they are saving up to get Bauer. BBD read something that's blown his mind. He had to cover.
Uh-oh.
So O'Day had a quote after the game.
Oh, O'Day had a quote about it. Oh, no. Okay.
Leadoff walk is never good, O'Day said. So that's not good. Then Trevor Plouffe hits a ball. He didn't hit it hard. Could have been caught. Just in a tough spot, and that happens. Then I can't hit Torrey Hunter to load the bases.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, yeah.
It's fine.
I thought that was going to
just that part.
Thought it was going to take a south turn.
They didn't smoke any balls, but that's baseball and it happens. Made some good pitches, but it didn't turn out.
Yeah.
So it's a quote you wouldn't like hearing post game.
Good pitches, better swings.
Yeah. I think Bauer and the Mets is a real deal. I do subscribe to that. I think the Dodgers. I think it's like Mets on a 3-year huge deal or Dodgers on a 1 or 2 year huge deal. The Angels are out. I was reminded by Rosenthal and the Baseball Reporters how much he hates Mickey Callaway. And if he does go to the Angels, I think they'd have to fire Mickey Callaway. So that was like a bomb in my brain. I was like, I wish someone told me that before we all made our predictions on the Winter Meetings live show. Because honestly, if someone reminded me Mickey Callaway was the pitching coach, I would have said, oh, no way. But the Mets are making moves. Both Cohens followed him on Twitter. So that's something.
I've kind of been on this from the start. Trev started getting a taste. Now you're here. Interested to see. Now I'm starting to talk myself into the Dodgers a little bit because I just think that would be dropping it on the table and saying Padres like real nice offseason, guys. Real nice. Here's the Cy Young winner. But dude, I think for the Mets, I was on Bauer McCann, so I'll stick with it. I think. And I mean, that would just be full tilt excitement for the Mets. That's a team you don't want to play. And I mean, he announced that, he wants his platform to get launched. And I mean, New York ain't a bad place to do it. So, we'll see. We'll see. Do we think it's going to like sneak up to spring training? Do we think it's about to crack soon?
No.
I don't know, man.
He's trying to announce it his own way, so. You know what, though? Okay. How do you say this without being a hater?
Just embrace the hate. Just embrace it.
No, because, I am a fan of momentum and new media and nice player media, and like we've done stuff with Bauer. Bauer's done stuff with us, and I appreciate all of that. It's the decision by LeBron. That's the best basketball player debatably ever. I'm not getting into that debate, but it is debated often if he's the best ever, right? If anyone in basketball could make a show about announcing where they're going to go, it would be LeBron. He did it, and he gets ridiculed to this day for doing it in that manner. And if there was anyone that could, it would be LeBron. So I just I'm a little tread a little lightly on this, Bauer. Like, don't throw yourself a party with an announcement video. I like it, but I'm also weary of it because I think, look how people still bash the decision, and we're like 10 years out.
Let's do the spin zone. I think we have a YouTube channel now. What if this was us? If we were in Bauer's camp, what would our advice be to him?
Just do like social media. Like, don't be like a week out, 5 days out, 4 days out, we're 3 days out, we're 2 days out, 10 hours, 8 hours, which I think they may do because they kind of play into all that gimmicky stuff.
Build it up.
I would just drop a tweet. You know who had the best retirement post of all time? Marshawn Lynch, when he just tweeted out a picture of his cleats hanging on telephone wires. Yeah. It was the best retirement announcement I've seen by a player.
The MJ I'm back
but
post.
then he came back.
Yeah, but still,
he's
that's still played.
And that's Marshawn. He can do anything. Yeah, no,
I love it. He can do whatever he wants.
I'm with you. I think it's just the best video would be like Trevor Bauer, and he just like puts on the hat and a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I have no problem with him doing whatever he wants with his own media.
I agree.
Channel.
I'm just saying. I mean, but he kind of embraces the hate already. So
yeah, haven't you heard his song back then? You thought I wasn't cool. Now all the girls drool.
It's not that, but it's just as good as that. Back then was a diamond in the rough, growing up invisible. Life was kind of tough. But now I shine in all I do. Sup. There might be people that don't know that this is a real song, so we'll just play it.
We can play it for the outro today.
That's all we really got. Tanaka goes back to Japan on a really cheap deal, a 1-year deal. So maybe he tries to come back.
I love the whole story about that.
Why?
He had he had other offers for more money. He told the Yankees he wanted X amount of money. He told other teams he wanted more money than that, and then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and pitch for this team and kind of go full circle. Like it's a cool story, man. He came over and did it at the highest level, was successful at the highest level, and then he just went back home, man. It's like You don't see a ton of success stories like that, guys coming over. So I'm happy for him.
Respected his contract, didn't opt out, didn't leverage the Yankees, opted in after 2017 for the last 2 years. As
a lot of money, right?
A lot of money. As a fan, he was as easy to root for, I think, as possible. I'm talking about like personality and off the field and on the field, like light switch guy, on the mound, and aggressive, screaming, yelling, perfectionist, hitting himself in the head with missing spots. Every fly ball, he'd swear at himself just because they put the ball in the air and he did not want that. Even if it was a lazy pop up to left field, you'd see him just cursing himself out in the mound. Just really easy to root for, and then as silly as hell in the dugout with his buddies. His career's still going. I mean, he's one of the top pitchers, so he might come back next year. This might be a 1-year deal, get away from Corona and COVID, come back when things sort it, and see if anyone's going to give him real money again, because he just signed a 1-year deal with the Rakuten Eagles.
I don't hate it.
I love Tanaka.
Would be a fun storyline.
Big fan of Tanaka. Tank.
Yeah.
Hot.
I was going to say something else about him, but I forgot.
Good fielder.
Are we really have to talk about the Hall of Fame? We have to do that?
No, I don't. No one got. I was just going to say it at the end. No one got into the Hall of Fame.
No one got in. And here's Trevor Bauer.
And then the Mets promoted Zach Scott to acting GM.
Good. Alderson's doing everything.
Wilson Ramos, 1 year, $2 million to the Tigers.
Squeeze it, kid.
Another catcher off the board.
He's so thick.
The Buffalo.
He's so thick.
I saw him when he was like 16 years old, absolutely crushing balls in Fort Myers, and he's should have made a lot more money. Talk about timing, dude. Worst timing ever. Like a week left in the season, he into his platform year. He was having a great year, and he hurt himself.
There, Fangraphs, who I've constantly been checking and using their estimates. They thought he was going to get the second most money at catcher, or third. After McCann.
This year?
Yeah, after Real Muto and McCann.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, seriously, when he was a young guy, I mean, he move and everything. He had everything, the arm, the power, everything going for him. And he put up good numbers. I got to look it up right now, but I know he did.
Thick.
Got a note, BBD? Did you have some?
I mean, that might be the third most of catchers. Has anyone beaten that yet?
$2 million?
Suzuki get that?
Let's see.
Yeah, 1.5, I think.
Romine got 1.5.
I mean, they expect him to get like
they expect
2
him to
for
get
10.
more than that, but
let me see.
might have gotten the rankings right.
Rankings.
No, yeah. At the end of 2016, Wilson, All-Star. He had MVP votes. He won the Silver Slugger and then had that injury at the end of the season. So they took that small deal with the Rays.
Castro got $7 million.
They projected Wilson Ramos to get 2 for 20.
Oof.
He got 1 for 2.
That's bad. And Zunino got 1 for 3. So he's the 5th.
So, hey, go Tiger up. Don't sleep on the Tigers.
Never do it.
Ray, my guy.
Trev, last words before we hit it to Bauer?
Send it to Bauer.
Back then was a diamond in the rough, baby, growing up invisible while I was sure tough. I'm gold now because I shine in all I do, like a 24-karat diamond ring for your boo. But back then was a diamond in the rough, baby, growing up invisible while I was sure tough. I'm gold now because I shine in all I do, like a 24-karat diamond ring for your boo. I was beaten up in school, I was bullied, called a fool. Now I got slobber on my feet cause all the females wanna drool. Swooning over me, now they deem that I'm worthy. But these bees are so confused, they're crossing I's and dotting T's. Call it mean that I've been seen, laughing cause they're blotting tears. No more applauding cause I'm plotting your revenge on those revered. Yeah. Maybe this is corny, but you should peel your ears and be ready to adhere to the next words you're gonna hear. Yes, my name is Trevor. Yeah. We did grow up together, had no time for me back then. So the bridge I broke is severed and I'll never cross again. Say you've changed, but you would never, ever, ever in a million years be clever enough to leverage me back. Fact is that I hate this, but I put up was a diamond in the rough. Now I'm just a diamond, yeah, I'm ruffling your feathers. Better duck and soldier flying in reverse this time, and I got no sympathy for you, so just quit your crying. Back then was a diamond in the rough, baby, growing up invisible while I was sure tough. I'm gold now, cause I shine in all I do, like a 24-karat diamond ring for your boo.
See you guys. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Invisible while I was sure tough. I'm gold now, cause I shine in all I do, like a 24-karat diamond.